Hello, everyone, and welcome to the monthly forecast for August. We are looking at all of the energies that are happening for Feng Shui and for Flying Star. And today we're going to be talking about the West Sector. But before we get started, if you are new to me, my name is Kathleen Zemansky. I am a business Feng Shui master, business astrologer, and the creator of the Time Blazer business management system. So what we're going to be basically talking about is every day for the next several days, and we've already got a couple of videos already up that I've been doing. Each day I'm looking at each of these sectors to have you know a little bit of knowledge about what's happening for you to make some informed decisions. So one of the things that we do is, as in the Feng Shui world, is we're constantly looking at the energies that are moving, and we want to always go where the energies are positive because it makes your life easier. Simple as that. It will make your life easier. And I think some of you probably who are listening to me or watching me and following me probably are looking for some answers at this point. And I don't blame you a bit. It has been a crazy, tumultuous time that we're going through. It's unprecedented in most people's lifetime, unless you're about 100 years old. Then you might have experienced a pandemic, but you were a baby and you didn't really feel it. Just like children, young children today will just bounce back like this is their normal. It's like what they're experiencing. But if you are of a certain age, and I would even say if you are young enough to even remember this memory of the pandemic, when it is going to be a memory, and it will be, and that is the good news. It will be, but it's going to be probably around summertime of next year of 2021 before this starts evening out. That's why I am helping you, and I'm also helping my clients. And actually my more successful clients are the ones who are constantly looking at where the most vibrancy is at, so that they have a better opportunity to get more business, work with better clients, stay healthier, and attract better partnerships, relationships, and things like that. So overall, when you are in the flow, life is going to be easier. When you are knocking your head up against the wall or the universe, you're going to get some pushback. So this is like a very clear-cut way for you to kind of decide, where should I put my body? Because your body is now going to become the antenna, if you will. So your body, when you place it in certain areas, you are going to really able to trigger the energy to get what you want. So the real trick behind this is to just know where those good energies are at. So let's get started, and we'll talk a little bit about how we can get some of these energies working for us. Okay. All right. So first of all, I would, not be truthful to tell you that we are going through some very big shifts, as you know. But this is where astrology and science really do align with each other. So the science is saying that we're in this very big shift of this pandemic, and we have to act very differently. Now, if you attended my annual event in January of this year, I was talking already about these super viruses. We had no idea that this was going to turn into a pandemic. But I certainly knew that we would be wearing face coverings, and that the financial sectors are really going to start, spiraling down, as well as real estate. Now, residential real estate, at least in the United States, is up, but in the commercial sector, I mean, you've seen it. If you're watching any type of news portals or channels, you are also understanding that people are going out of business in droves. So if that's one of you who are listening to me right now, I'm sincerely sorry that you are going through this, because it is not something that anyone had expected a year ago, that you'd have a thriving business. And I mean, some big top name businesses are filing for bankruptcy or just closing their doors. So I guess silver lining in all of this. When there's disruption, there is opportunity. So hopefully you are on that side of the spectrum, and you're also, if you're watching something like this, you know that things are going to be changing. But how you can usher and try to get ahead of that game and put yourself in that best positioning, that's where Chinese metaphysical tools are going to help you in a way that is absolutely phenomenal. And I think it's worth saying, when I first started Feng Shui, which was well over 25, 30 years ago, it was really for my own personal experience. I was living in Europe. I was there for about 15 years. I thought I'd be there for the rest of my life. And then I decided that I was going to come back to the United States after a very traumatic and tumultuous relationship breakup that I was in, that I thought I would be in forever. So that's another story for another time. But one of the first things I did is I turned to Feng Shui. Hear me when I tell you this. I don't believe if I had gone through that experience, seen for myself how dramatically in a very short time, and I'm talking about a couple of weeks, how quickly my life started to align with who I am, what I wanted to do, and really it gave me my power back. And that's what I'm trying to help you with during this series, help you get your power back. And this is such an empowering system. I truly believe that if it wasn't for also that breakup, that I wouldn't have found my calling, because I knew with every cell in my body that when I got over what I was going through back then, that I was going to help other people. So here I am. And I've been in business now for 20 years. And so I think that I am well positioned to tell you certain things to help you along your way. So here we go. All right. Then, but anyway, yes, we've had some very big shifts that we are experiencing. And so not only is it the year of the metal rat, but we are going through, it's, a new decade, and we're on the cusp of going from one period of period 8 to period 9, which is officially going to be coming in a couple of years, but we are on the cusp of it. So it's happening. Now, this is actually my business model: person, space, and time, astrology, Feng Shui, and timing, favorable timing with the time blazer. And the time blazer, I'm going to tell you a little bit about that in just a second, but it's a favorable calendar that is a unique calendar that is programmed to each individual. And I'm going to let you know how you can get a 30-day free trial with that very, very soon. But we are going to start with talking about the person. So this is the chart that if you want to download the chart for yourself or anyone that you're sheltering in place with, or people that you just care about and want to know what's happening with them, just go to this link, freebusinessastrology.com. And that link is also located below. Now, what we're going to be looking at specifically is your natal chart. There's a lot of information on my software, but for the purposes of what we're going to be doing together here is we're going to be looking at your natal chart. And the reason we look at the natal chart is we want to know, first and foremost, it doesn't matter what client I'm working with, I always run their chart first, because I need to know what's happening in their life, and you need to know yourself. Now, you could be winging it and just go, oh, whatever happens. That's really kind of a dumb strategy when we know for certainty that certain animals in certain years are going to behave in a certain way. It's a repeatable pattern. That's the beauty. That is such the beauty of classical Feng Shui, which is person, space, and time, because you always take in consideration the person, what's happening with them, what's happening with them, as well as then how do we adjust the space to make their space a little bit more vibrant to have them achieve their goals. And then we always trigger the energy on a good day and time. So the natal chart, we're looking at the year, month, day, and hour. So you're going to maybe need to track down your birth certificate or know somebody that knows your exact birth information, especially for that hour of birth. But your year of birth is about your, let me just take a sip of water here. Your year of birth is about your brand and your reputation. And it is also about your networking, which is so important when we're in this lockdown situation. I need to encourage you to start looking for online networking events if that's appropriate for your type of business. And then your month of birth is about your career and your character. So this is an interesting one as well, because you may find that your character shifts from one year to the next. Well, why? It is because, well, one, it's kind of a sum total of the people that you hang around, but also the animal that is located in that pillar is going to have a shifting energy each and every year. So it may be a character change that is in a positive way, or it could be a little bit more cranky. But when people are starting to tell you that they have like there's something different about you, or I like the new person that's showing up here, that you can really attribute that to an animal that's happening in your chart, and of course your good work to actually guide that information so that you are actually showing up in a really, really nice way. The day of birth is about your mindset, which is so important during this pandemic as well, that you really you like feed your soul with good things. Start really being selective about the things that you're watching on your live streams or television, whatever, however you're getting your information. And that includes recreational and news programming. Limit the garbage that you're putting in, because that is not helping your mindset. And then also, it's not only like the things that you ingest into your mouth, but the words that come out of your mouth and the thoughts that you have. So this is something that you actually have a good control over. So start addressing your responsibility in this pillar, because it's going to help you across the board. Then the last one is going to be your hour of birth, which is about your life purpose, as well as your legacy, if you will, and then also your brainstorming, your ideas, your aspirations, your goals. So what goals do you want to achieve? So this is really important for you to know that. Then the other thing that I want you to do now that you have this birth information is I want you to start thinking about looking at some collateral that I have for you. We're in the monkey month, so you can find it on YouTube, or you can also go to this particular website, timeblazer.com, where every month I talk extensively about what's happening for that particular animal in that particular month. So you're going to just want to go over there and check that out, but I'd advise you to do that with each and every one of those animals that are in your chart, because then that way you're going to have some information for the last 6 months of this year. Even if we're talking January, that energy is still with you. It's really going to start transitioning into the year of the ox by the time we get to January, actually sooner than that. But what I want to impress upon you is that it really is an opportunity for you to start living your life a little bit fuller and to your fullest capacity, because you understand what's available to you. That's really kind of the first step there. All right, then let's start talking about the space. So the space really, when we're looking at that cosmic trinity, person, space, and time, what we're looking at is the percentages of what is available to you. Now, in a perfect world, 33% is your person. Well, we know that everybody's chart is not stellar this year, so that downgrades a little bit. And then the space is also another 33%. So that is assuming that we have, a complete floor plan. And what I mean by that is a complete square. So that means you have all the directions within your floor plan. So some of you may not have this right now, but what I want you to think about, if you are ever planning to move, that's like number one. You do not want missing corners, and you want to make sure that everything's intact. Why? Because then you are able to capitalize on certain opportunities if you have them coming your way, right? So there's so many different layers that are within a Feng Shui floor plan, but we're going to talk about two. One is going to be the annual flying star. I'm going to integrate into this the monthly. That's why I'm online with you every day for about 9 days at each month. And then I'm going to talk about the feng shui one as well. All right, today we are talking about the West sector, and the West sector has a 9 in it. And it really is, overall, with all the systems that I talk about for the year, the West by far is the most benevolent, most auspicious, favorable. Life will be easier if you use that West sector. So hopefully it's not missing in your floor plan, because that would be a shame. So, and then I also get that sometimes there's storage areas. It could be a bathroom, it could be a garage that's not really usable either. But if that's the case, let's just make sure in those areas everything is functioning really well, as far as, there's nothing broken, there's no leaks, those kinds of things. If there's any rubble or anything like that, get that area cleaned up, because that's going to start bringing some flow into your life. Now, we're not going to really talk about too much feng shui activations per se during this series. That's a different program that I would be offering. But what I want to let you know is it really is as simple as putting your body into this area and staying there and using it, hopefully for a few auspicious hours of the day, where you can start having this wonderful energy work for you. And in companion with what you're trying to do. So the 9 is about your investments. Now, this is anything from a piece of property. It could be your IP. Even especially if you don't have property, start getting something of value. So that would be a piece of software, a program, a book, anything that has value and legacy for you. That's something I really want you to consider, and use that area to create it. It's really going to be supportive for you even creating that kind of content and collateral for yourself. So that's what investments are about. Now, it could be jewelry, it could be, big pieces of artwork or something like that, but something that will accumulate value over time. That's what the 9 is about. All right, now let's look at this next slide. The next slide is, and just so you know kind of my reasoning on how I'm doing this, the ones that are already in this sort of goldenrod color, this yellowy, earthy color, I want you to know that those are the ones that I've already discussed, and you can look at those on YouTube right now. But today we're going to be talking about the West. So I want you to know that the annual number, the 9 in this case in the West, is the number that we look at as the prevailing energy over the whole entire year. But now what we're going to do is we're going to micromanage this dial, if you will, this grid, to have you see the monthly influences, so you can, again, take this even a little step further to really start using the areas on a monthly basis. So the 4 and 9, let me just go to this next slide right away. So I want you to, just kind of look from a thumbnail kind of situation, that when we have all blue icons up here, that means it's going to be good. When we have all red, avoid it. And then when you have a mixed energy, then you're going to just have to make some decisions. What do you need? This is really important. This is a very, very important aspect of classical feng shui, is you got to know what you want. So, and you have to be very clear about what you want. It's not like going like, I want to have a relationship, I want to have money, I want to have health. Like, be specific. Why do you even want these things, and what are you doing to get there? So if you think that you're just going to go and do, putting your body in there and do absolutely nothing, you're going to keep eating garbage, you're not really like taking care of yourself, and you expect to have good health just by sitting in this area. Yeah, well, it's going to help nudge the needle a little bit, but your action is what's going to take it to that very next level. So be very conscious about some of the decisions that I was talking about earlier, that mindset piece, that really is going to start helping you quite a bit. All right, so let's just have a look at this dial again, or I'm going to call it grid. We'll look at a dial in just a second, and what the 4-9 has to offer, because when you reverse the combination, it becomes a little bit different energetically. But let's just look at the 4-9 for this particular month. So it really is about family, or the concept, if you will, of what family does for you. So this is about your knowledge and experience that you get in your family unit before you go out venturing into the world. So really, it's a parent's duty. It really is. When you think about what a traditional family was, and again, it depends on how old you are and what your family unit was. But I am actually a product of the 50s. So I did actually grow up in a very traditional family where, the mom stayed at home and was, the main caretaker, and my dad worked out, even though my mom worked sporadically throughout my childhood. But we had dinner together, we did family vacations together. I mean, it really was a very, very different. And I realized that those times are probably a little bit gone. But if you have children, your duty is to raise responsible adults that have discipline and manners and all of that. So that's what this can help you do in this particular sector. Now, the other thing that it is it's also about your own morals and putting your best foot forward. So this can work very well in a workplace as well. So a good team is comprised of having clear direction, having clear rules and regulations, what's acceptable, what's not, how all the collaborations with the team members are playing. But it is the leader's responsibility, the business owner's responsibility, the manager, whatever the hierarchy is to say, these are the rules and regulations of this team. This is how we're going to operate, and you make responsible team members. So if you have people that are kind of like slacking off or whatever, that they're not following the rules, and it's your responsibility to turn that around before that would actually happen, right? Before, a team starts breaking down. But the other thing that it's very good for is really, a brilliance of a new idea, the birth of a new idea. So that's where I want you to start thinking is the family unit, where can you improve any relationships with your family? And I want you to start thinking about, even though they're not living with you, but where is it that you want to improve that relationship with any particular family or even a close friend? Like, really, let's build those bonds, because that's going to be very important for you to do. And then do that with your teams, and then spend some time there and look for some new innovative ideas. I talked about at my annual event this past January about the birthing of new ideas. There's going to be some very innovative things that are going to be happening. Like, for example, Elon Musk sent up a team to the space station and successfully did that. But it's going to be things like that, very, breakout stars. Now, because of these platforms, obviously, that many people are on, we're going to start really actually seeing this. And I'm even seeing some things that are happening on YouTube, for example, or LinkedIn or Facebook and things like that, all these social media platforms, Instagram, that we're getting these like new breakout stars. So the people that are spending the effort to do that and build their teams so that they can be more visible, those are the ones that are really going to fare extremely well in this pandemic. So I really want you to start thinking, if you don't have an idea, hang out in the West. You got a couple more weeks to go. This goes all the way through to September the 6th. So we got about 3 weeks that you can really spend some time there and really make some good strides to help you along. All right, now I'm going to show you this dial, and I just want you to know that links below will get you access to this so that you can start seeing what the annual flying star is. Now, I don't have the monthly overlaid on that, but just go ahead and do the annual, and then every month just look at this particular information that I'm giving you. So as you can see, the 9 is located in the west, and that's where this is what we're talking about today. Now, I'm going to also switch over to another dial. This is the Feng Shui dial. And I talked a little bit about all of the directions yesterday. So just go back and listen to yesterday's, which was about the southwest. If you haven't already listened to it, then go ahead and just find out what more in depth what this dial is about. But this is the sector that I really like overall for the entire year. It really is a fantastic sector for you to bring some really, really positive things your way. So this month, it's actually bringing about some new innovation. So potentially you could even come up with a new piece of IP during this month by spending a bit of time there. So, really what you could do is you could even actually be bouncing around all of the different areas, positive ones, obviously. So we know the southeast is really, really good, and we know the west is good. So spend a little time in both of those areas for the knowledge that you know right now, and then as we go through this particular program for you, then you can decide what are the other ones that you want to be using. So hopefully that was helpful for you as well. All right, now the next piece I'm going to talk to you about really quickly is about the Time Blazer. So the Time Blazer is an energetic calendar that's personalized to each individual, and this is a snapshot of just the month in itself. And basically what you want to start thinking about is that the green days are the most important ones that you want to be looking at. Now, I do have to say that this is a personalized calendar, so there's icons and stars and all of that. So if you want to have 30 days of the Time Blazer for free, which is an energetic calendar that's 100% based on the astrology that's in your chart. Remember that your reputation and branding, your career, character, your mindset, your partnerships, and your legacy. This is what the Time Blazer is programmed for. So as you can see, it's a holistic system. When you start putting the pegs into this trinity, if you will, of person, space, and time, you are absolutely elevating everything that you potentially can do from the metaphysical world. Now, I still want you to be doing your great work and all of that, and this is just going to augment everything you do. So this isn't a practitioner program, although I've had practitioners follow along with this, but I do want you to know that this is accessible for you immediately. Do not hit the save button, I'm going to watch later, because you're going to miss out on opportunities. So if you're someone who really sincerely wants to turn your business around, potentially even start a new business, or elevate the business that you already have, because the opportunities are endless right now, then start using these areas to help yourself, start using timing to help yourself, and start using your chart to its max so that you can exponentially move up the scale of success, right? So again, I do want to let you know that this is a personalized calendar, so yours may look different than what you're seeing on the screen. I also have every week something that's called Time Blazer Tuesdays. So I've already posted this week's so actually it was the 12th through the 18th that is posted already, but just to let you know that there's another channel that is up and running. So that's what I have for you today. I really appreciate you following. Again, if you could subscribe to our channel, that would really help us. If you're new, if you like what you saw today, hit that like button. And if you are really impressed with something that you heard today, you have any questions, go ahead and leave a comment below, because that will help me very much to to give the responses that you're looking for. And then always ring that bell so you get the notifications from us so you don't miss any of this time-sensitive, important information. Okay, well, that's it for the West today. We're going to be talking about the Northwest in the next video, and it's still pretty good in the Northwest. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. And so we'll see you for our Feng Shui update of the Northwest this time tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.